Andrew Morgan Smith, and I wanted to talk to you today about workflow and just strategies you can set up that should help you get music written faster and get better at writing music. First thing, make sure you have a dedicated spot that you're going to write in, whether it's in your bedroom, on a table, whether it's on a desk, whatever it is, a location that you know you can just go to, and that's where you set up to write music. That's where you go to get in the headspace to do what you need to be doing. Number 2, have a clean area to work in. That doesn't mean you clean your room or you clean your office every time you go in it, but make sure your desk is kind of clear of clutter. I find it helps me a lot. If I have a bunch of junk everywhere, I can't focus. It's very distracting. It just doesn't help me at all. Number 3, remove distraction. So that may mean removing clutter off your desk. That also could mean like putting your phone on silent. Don't have a TV on in the background. Don't have video games set up in the same room. Just make sure that you have a place you can focus and not be distracted by something else. So try and remove distractions, whatever they may be for you. Number 3, dedicate a specific time to writing. The more work you have to do, the more time you have to dedicate to something, but make sure that you have a time. Like I usually try to dedicate work hours unless I have really intense deadlines. I usually try to do a 9 to 5 and be done, or maybe like an 8:30 to 5 situation and be done. So that way I have a schedule, I can have a schedule for my family, and also I have a time that I know this is when I need to write. Step 5, having a to-do list.
Okay, let's see my to-do list. Go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work.
We're under quarantine right now, so maybe you watch this video in 6 months or a year and we're no longer there, but I am right now, and it has really helped me to have a to-do list that says, hey, here's everything I could possibly do. Let me grab something and focus on it to get things done. It is a great tool to use to make sure that you're not forgetting anything because you're not trying to carry everything in your brain, but also make sure that you're just getting stuff done. Number 6, have a template that you can just sit down and say, I'm going to write an orchestral piece. I load the thing up. I load maybe 1 or 2 extra samples, and then I start writing. You don't want to be spending an hour loading samples. You want to spend as little time as possible as you can loading samples. You want to just get immediately to the creative juices, immediately just to writing something. Number 7 is having a plan. Especially if you're on a movie, you need to have a plan. Know what your themes are, have spotting notes, be able to know generally what your color palettes are, and how much music you need to be writing a day. And having that deadline often is a great motivator to me. Having those things set up helps take away from the overwhelmingness of the blank page. Like, oh my goodness, how am I supposed to get anything done if I have all the options? Well, if I narrow down my options, then it can only be so many things, and that helps me a lot. Number 8, and it sounds kind of funny, but write. If you are a student, or if you are an aspiring film composer, or even if you're not an aspiring film composer, if you're an actual film composer and your question is, how do I get my writing speed up? The answer is to write. So that way when someone comes knocking and says, hey, can you write 70 minutes of music in 3 weeks? You don't have this moment of thinking like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do that? You just say, yes, I can, because you've spent enough time writing that it's not a new skill. The top thing I tell students whenever they ask, well, what can I be doing now? Write. If you're in quarantine and on lockdown, write, because you will get to know yourself better. You'll get to know how you work, where you need to sit, what lighting you need to be in. How do you like to write? What do you like to do? You need those things. You need those skills. You need to know how you like to function. The other thing that kind of goes along with that, make sure that you're getting something down. If you're stuck on a cue, if you're stuck on something that you can't find the idea, just start moving, start writing something. It may not even make it to the final cue, but if you have an idea and you start moving, at least you're going somewhere. Number 9, when you're on a big project, it is not a sprint, it is a marathon. When you start writing on a movie, and by your calculation, you need to be writing 3 minutes of music a day, but for the first couple days, you only get a minute written. Keep in mind that as you become more familiar with the score, you're going to start writing more and more quickly. So you already will have had ideas that you can now reuse for another section. You will have only so many colors to work with. And what I mean by that is, if you're writing a orchestral score, you're not going to all of a sudden break into an EDM action cue, probably. I mean, maybe. It's possible. And the last thing is, please be patient with yourself.
Stop pooping.
Especially when you're first starting out on a movie or you're first starting out in your career. It takes time to exercise this muscle that's like, I sit down and now something comes out. It takes time to learn how you work, how you do things, how you like to work. Be patient with yourself about it. But keep at it. The only way you do this is through persistence and getting to know how you like to work and getting to know how you like to get things done. I want everybody writing. Make sure you're writing something new every day, or at least working on something new every day, because that's the only way you're going to get better at what you're doing. So we can tell you how to orchestrate something, but that's not what a composer is. You have to sit there and actually get things done and get things written. So go write something, huh?